internalized transphobia or internalized misogyny? Are they the same thing? Is transphobia kind of just another kind of misogyny? I mean, transphobia applies to both male to female and female to male trans people, but and I could be biased here, but I think the greater aversion or the greater phobia, whatever you want to call it, in society is to male to female. And I can give you a piece of evidence to that, which is that among LGBT people, the people who are most often victimized, the most often assaulted, killed, harassed are trans women, but specifically black trans women. Which would seem to indicate, at least for the black community, that the black trans woman is kind of the most hated, feared, despised, or whatever kind of, I don't want to say trans type, but and it's not just even trans, it's also for like I said, LGBT people in general, that it's kind of the worst position to be in. And I feel like what I'm getting at in saying that is that is, the way I see it, is a kind of misogyny. That is that the reason that it's so looked down upon for a man to act like a woman is just because people have such an low estimation of women. That it's not just trans. It is you know, a man. For me in my life, it was often kind of expressed in a way to me that being a woman was like the worst thing for a man to be. When I was a kid, if you wanted, if like if I was playing baseball or something, and if someone wanted to insult me, or I wanted to insult someone, what do you say to them? You say, you throw like a girl. And in general, if you're sitting in a chair and you have your legs crossed, someone will say, you're sitting like a girl, you're acting like a girl. And so it, in a way, I mean, really there was nothing else like that, except race. I did know people when I was a kid who would compare you to blacks if you were messy and things like that. They'd say you're acting like a black person or whatever. Of course, that wasn't the word they used. But it is for me, and in my, I mean, it wasn't just what was expressed to me. For me, in my own head, that was like the worst. The biggest crime I could commit as a man was to be a woman, to act like a woman. And so when people talk about transphobia, even when I think about my own internalized transphobia, which is what I thought of it as for quite a while, because I was averse to trans women. Trans women gave me the creeps early on, but to call that transphobia to me just seems like it's just short of the truth, because for me it's not, that's not the actual truth. That it's not so much that being trans itself is a problem, because I think if people had a higher view of women, then trans behavior would not be looked down upon. That's my belief, is that if people saw kind of the divine quality of femininity of women, then men would be dressing as women all the time. If they said that you're acting like a woman, a man would be like, cool, women are fucking awesome. But the reason they don't do that, the reason men get insulted if you say they're acting like a woman, is because they have a low opinion of women. And that, to me, is basically what transphobia is. It is a fear of basically of being seen as a woman. And I think the reason that a lot of people are opposed to the idea of trans behavior is because of that. It's not that they so much are bothered by trans people. They're afraid that that could be them, or they're one of their children or their relatives or whatever, and you know, I mean, I think you've probably heard stories about China. Well, I don't remember the story how it went, but I remember hearing about how being born a girl in China was like the worst thing you could do as a human being. Of course, you're not doing it on purpose, but that they had such a low opinion of women that I don't know if the families were giving up their daughters to adoption because they just didn't want them or what. But I just remember hearing that was just, they didn't want daughters, they wanted sons. And I don't think I need to tell everybody that women have not been held in the highest esteem for the last few hundred years in Western civilization. I mean, if you look at civil rights and that kind of thing, it doesn't paint the picture that women are highly esteemed, that they are highly valued, that they are respected, and so it almost seems, if you look at that transphobia is just a natural course of perspective. I mean, why would you not be afraid of trans people when you have such a low view of women? If women are too stupid to vote, and too stupid to drive, and too stupid to stand up and talk, I mean, why would you want as a man to discover that on the inside that you're actually a woman? I think that to me, I almost feel like transphobia is not even a real thing. That it's just